hear the sound. It's trying to shut me all down, and I hear it deep inside, and it's speaking to me right now. Like, quit it, man, you will not make it. You will never get this crown. But it is these temptations that just try to shut you down. But wait, hey, I did not listen to that. Cause you want me down at the bottom, but I don't wanna live like that. Man, I wanna live brave and I wanna live good, and I wanna do things that I should. Now, you try to tell me that I'm nothing. I'm like my dude, listen, I'm done with that, but I don't wanna live this way. So I've been on my path, yes, I chose a different way. And I've been going hard just every single day. So do not tell me what to do, instead leave this place.
Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? It's Nora, and I am so excited to that Mal asked me to do a podcast here. Irish and I have been planning since we met, actually, and became friends. We've been saying that we should do a podcast together. Just the funny conversations that him and I have. But we've been saying that for a year, so this is actually a nice introduction into the podcast world, I guess. Okay, I don't know if you can hear the L or not. So I wasn't sure what to speak about or even how to conduct a podcast, and especially when I'm talking to myself here. But I kind of wanted to address the topic of 12-step programs and rehabs, as far as how I see them and my experience with them, and why I am so reluctant to run right back to one in order to live a clean life. I call myself a frequent AMAer, and I make a joke about it, but in the long run, it's not funny. But my experience with 12-step rehabs, and rehabs are great. The 12-step model that most of them follow, it is a guide for living, and the 12 steps have saved my life numerous times. And the points of sobriety that I did have were all because I thoroughly followed the 12 steps and worked them and continued to work them, every day that I was sober. And even when I relapsed, I still had those specific things that I had, because it's all about changing our behaviors, and I had learned to change the negative behaviors in myself, and the habits that I had during my sobriety still carried over into my relapse, which it's still, the things that about me that had changed were, not just habits, but things about my character and my integrity. They made me a better person and the woman that God intended me to be, I believe. And I was okay looking in the mirror. I was proud of myself. I was okay being the woman that I was. I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't embarrassed. And I'm talking about like with behaviors and how I treat others and how I live my life. So the model that 12-step programs follow, that the rehabs follow, most rehabs around here follow the 12-step program, which for different, they have AA and NA. That's what I mean when I'm referring to 12-step program. In case anybody's unaware, the different fellowships for, the different anonymous fellowships, as far as Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous, they all follow this guide for living, which is just, it's about how to look at yourself, look at the things that you've done, the way that you've been living. Are they acceptable and healthy ways to live? If not, what do you need to do to change them? And, how can you live for others, basically, so you can be a positive in someone else's life rather than hurting people and taking from them all the time. So it's kind of like, how can we give back instead of taking from everything and everyone? So when you enter a rehab, it's, their main goal is to get you started in sobriety with teaching you the 12 steps, and, especially steps 1, 2, and 3, which are, admitting that you're powerless over whatever it is you're addicted to, believing that something greater than you has the power to change what's going on, and you deciding that you're ready to make those changes with the help of that, greater power. So that's what they, not beat into your head, but the rigorous programming, I should say, that the most rehabs follow, and most rehabs incorporate. It's all to introduce you to the 12 steps and to teach you about them, to introduce you to what meetings are like and what your new life is going to be like when you do these steps, and when you leave rehab. It's all to prepare you for that, for learning how to get clean and start living a clean life. But then my problem happened when I started getting comfortable with, and there's different fellowships, and different people within those fellowships have different beliefs on how to do those 12 steps also. So some say, excuse me, some think that you should take your time on each step and wait a few months until you show that you can stay sober or abstinent even for 90 days, and then maybe start one by one breaking down the steps and taking your time with each one. And then the way that worked for me was some of them, and the way that AA was initially started was immediately, right away, as soon as you decide that you're done and you want to quit, as soon as you enter that, since most need a medical facility to detox, as soon as you enter that detox and the fog's lifted a little bit, even if it's not lifted, they were, Bill Wilson, one of the founders of AA, he was immediately starting on steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, and started 5, 6, 7, and 8 inside the rehab, and he was done 12 by, within a couple of days. And he was on, he was out, he left that facility or the hospital, creating AA basically, and creating the 12 steps. He just didn't know it yet. But some people need that rigorous, immediate change in their life in order to be successful, and that's what I needed. And the last time that I was sober for about 2.5 years, I actually AMA'd from the rehab that I was in. Like I said, I probably have entered into rehab at least 30 times, at least. And I have AMA'd from most of them. Let's say I have successfully completed, I believe, 3 rehabs. And that was there was huge time gaps in between those. Other than that, every time I've entered a rehab, I have left within the first few days, if not the first few hours. But what happens when I get to the rehab and you take the drugs away from me and I'm around all these strangers, I start thinking about what I've done, all the negative things, and all the guilt and shame come up, and I start drowning in all of those feelings. And then I feel so alone because I don't know anybody there, and I'm depressed, and that kicks in. And I've suffered with depression since I was a little girl, so that's already there anyway. And then put on top of that taking the drugs away and that whole type of depression, it's just a whole cocktail of a mess in my brain, and I'm out the door. Unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to having to go through that again in order to get clean. I don't want to say I have a plan, but I have an idea in my head of what I believe I need in order to be successful at long-term sobriety. And some of my friends will laugh, oh, she's here's the know-it-all. She knows what she needs. But I talked to a therapist last week about this, and I had said, I don't mean to sound like a know-it-all or like I know what I need. But she said, you do know what you need, though. You know what, how you've been unsuccessful, and you know what has worked for you, and you know what you want in life, and you know what you need in order to live the life you want. So she said, don't be afraid to say that out loud and to look for those things if that's what you want to do. And so what I'm really looking for in order to to live a productive, clean lifestyle. I really believe that I need a women's, and the wording is funny, but like a women's retreat / vacation type of thing. Not, sitting on the beach having a time of my life, but somewhere where I can feel close to my higher power, somewhere where I feel like it's centered towards how am I going to find this motivation to get up out of bed every day and live life without drugs. And I do have a son who I love very, very much. And unfortunately, like most people, I don't want to say, I hate when people say, they go, he's not enough, because he should be, and he is the greatest thing in my world. But it's, unfortunately, he was never, the thought of being his mom and having to take care of him was never enough to keep me from selfishly doing what I wanted to do, what made me feel better. So, it's not, it's not that he wasn't enough, it's just, I didn't make him enough. And, what I really, for me to go to another rehab in order to get sober, I don't think that is, unless I just say, okay, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, which unfortunately, that's not what it takes for me at this time, because I've been through the steps numerous times. I know the AA book, the big book, front and back, like the back of my hand. I love that book. It's one of my favorite books in the world. I love it. I feel like it was a book written about myself, and I love showing it to a new girl and taking them through the steps. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world that I've experienced. But I don't have to learn again about it. I don't need someone to teach me, what it's like to how I have to read this chapter of the book, and what I have to what I have to do at a meeting, and I don't need someone to explain to me the difference between a relapse and sober relapse, or just a premeditated relapse, or I don't need someone to explain to me what addiction is. I don't need someone to explain to me what it does to my brain. I've been taught all of that, and I know that. I've been very educated on the 12 steps and the program, and it does work. But I'm beyond that now. Coming back from a couple years of sobriety, and then choosing to go back out and use instead of living a healthy life with my son, that's something beyond what 12-step programs here can offer, I think. And I really I wish I had a place. I've been describing this lately to certain friends of mine, and just seeing what they say, and I'm always trying to defend myself so I don't sound like a know-it-all, and so I don't hear she knows what's best for her, so she's not going to be willing to do anything that she needs to do. But I don't know, maybe I could even start on one day if there's nothing like this. But I really wish there was a place for that was gender specific, that was small in population, and geared to me specifically, or to whatever patient they have, with a team of people that are just dedicated to helping me mentally and physically come out of the hell, which is detox, and even the mental detox, and helping me figure out what it is in life that I need to succeed. And for me, I'm not going to get into that now, what it is, but I know what I want my life to look like, and I don't believe the 12-step program, or the 12-step rehabs here. I don't believe the rehabs around this area that focus on the 12-step model are what I need to, in order to get clean. Unfortunately, there's no motivation in it for me. And even if I completed a 30-day rehab, I'll probably be using on day 31 when I'm not in the rehab. It's just reality for me. So I don't know. Hopefully, I didn't, take too long and bore any listeners. But I would really like some feedback on any places or any suggestions that anybody out there might have, as far as what other options are there for people who've been through 12-step programs numerous times and who might need something beyond that for help. I was even considering going to a rehab in a different country just because it would be a little bit different than here, thinking that it might. But when I was a year sober in 2013, my father took me to Italy to celebrate, and I went to a meeting there, and you know what? It was the same damn meeting as it would have been here. It was in a church basement. They had the same type of coffee. Well, Italian coffee was a lot better, but it was the same book, just in a different language, and everything was the same. I was the same. I was, a year sober, but I was the same. So I don't think it's, just running to a different country that help me. However, if anybody wants to invite me to their vacation home in Italy, I'd be more than willing to go. But I don't know. I hope that I was able to get my point across, and hope some listeners are willing to maybe just take a minute to fill me in on maybe another option that they're aware of that I'm not. So I'm also sitting here watching the number count grow on our AML subscribers, getting really excited that we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers soon. So I don't know, hopefully we'll see everybody in maybe a little get together or celebration for reaching 100,000. But I'm really grateful to Mel for having this and for letting me come on here and do this podcast thing. And I look forward to getting to know some more people. I've made some really good friends already, and look forward to what AML has in store. Looking forward to the future for AML and being a part of it, hopefully, if I'm blessed enough. So thanks, guys. Everybody have a safe and a healthy day. Take care. Bye.